are Jared Greenberg that Andre Iguodala is out for Game 2. Klay Thompson still considered probable despite that high ankle sprain. But you know what? You look around Northern California, the sun is shining. It seems like a pretty good weekend. Time for a look at the shot chart presented by Kaiser Permanente. Kevin Durant, 8 of 22 in Game 1. 1 of 7 from three-point range. He hasn't shot the ball particularly well from three-point range throughout the postseason. But look at the isolation possessions in the Western Conference Finals with all that switching. 11 per game on average. He had a couple that were much more than that, in fact. 8 in Game 1. How do you like the balance you saw out of KD?
Look, KD is a great one-on-one player. Probably had more opportunities, as you said, in the Western Conference Finals. But last year was sensational, MVP of the Finals. But he's just been a little bit out of sorts here as of late. Got a matchup that he wants, a smaller J.R. Smith, no help, 2 dribbles, but kind of bails out for a tough shot. That's a shot you maybe take when you got a rhythm going. He never really got a rhythm. And then right here, Kevin Love, a mismatch, doesn't make the right read, gets pushed out to the three-point line, one-on-one with LeBron James, and just bails out with a tough shot. He was making those shots in those plays last year against LeBron. This year he struggles. Pushed out once again to the three-point line, forces a switch. Now he has the matchup he wants, Kevin Love, and he kind of bails him out here. I know it's a low shot clock, a tough shot. So nothing was easy. He didn't look he looked out of sorts. And sometimes you gotta be a little bit more aggressive, get to the line, be a little bit more creative when things are struggling. But they're going to need him. You know, Klay Thompson, the uncertainty, you know, your legs are so important to your shot. You can't rely on him necessarily. Steph's been consistent. But Durant has to play better. And he just hasn't been able to seize those opportunities when they come. And they rely on him and his ability to make shots. He just hasn't done that consistently, you know, obviously throughout the playoffs, most importantly in Game 1.
Grant, I think it's difficult to resist the mismatch that he has every time down court. So you're seduced into going to it, right? Because he does have a mismatch. And we're so used to seeing him dominate when he has a mismatch. And I think the size bothered him the last game in terms of Jeff Green, LeBron James, and even Kevin Love to a certain extent when he guarded him every now and then. He tried to take him off the dribble. When he tried to take people off the dribble, we saw them bring in a second defender. And when they brought the second defender, they forced him into being a passer, which made him take some tough shots because he wasn't looking to pass the ball. So I think he's gone back, watched the film, and the good thing we know about Kevin Durant is that he'll watch film, he'll make the adjustment because he still is the best scorer in the game.
Well, and he had 6 assists. He's adapted to this style of play since last season and kind of learned on the fly the Warrior way of moving the ball when the play calls for it.
For me, you know, watching him, he is the ultimate of controllable errors. All the errors that he makes are controllable. It's not something he can't do. It's just that he didn't do it last time. He chose not to do it. So all he has to do is make better decisions. He doesn't have to change his game. He's going to shoot the ball. He's got an advantage every single time. So when he walks into any building, he can wear the same sweatsuit every night because he is the best scorer in the basketball. So he doesn't have to worry about anything because he knows every night he has the advantage. It's just he has to make better decisions himself. There's nothing the defense is going to do that's going to dictate what he wants to do.
It really speaks to just how talented this team is. He had the best plus-minus of any player on the floor, plus 17. He had 26 in the game, and we're kind of nitpicking. He wasn't great. By his standards,
he wasn't efficient. Yeah. He was 26 points, but he wasn't efficient.
And most of that is the three-point shooting.
He could be efficient based on his decisions. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's nothing that the defense really pushed him to do. Like Grant said, he said, well, he's got Kevin Love on him, and he bailed him out. And he knows that. He said, you know what, next time, Kevin Love, I'm going to take him 2 dribbles in and put over. So he could change that. Kevin Love can't say, okay, I'm going to do that to him again. That doesn't happen. It's all based on his mentality.
You know, it's interesting. The mentality is very rarely with Kevin Durant, okay, I need to go out and score 35 because of the team he plays on. And yet, you know, and Steve Kerr called him a safety valve here yesterday, that's an option virtually every time he takes the floor.
He's a matchup nightmare every time he's on the court. I know I had to guard him, and it's just unbelievable. But
how was that?
No, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, I at the end of my career guarded LeBron, guarded Kobe, guarded guys like Dwayne Wade, Carmelo, and great players. Look, great offense always trumps great defense, but you could do everything right defensively. You get in his space, you get in his feet, don't give him a lot of, guess right, contest a shot from deep. And because of his size and his ability to get the ball on, he didn't even see you. and so you had to have selective memory. You just had to move on to the next play. But so I know what he's capable of. We all have seen it on display. But it's just, even in the Houston series, he had a great game 1, then he kind of struggled there, games 4 and game 5. And obviously Houston is a great team. But when he's on and he's playing like we saw last year, the Warriors can't be beat. And I do think they were being physical, as what you said.
Yes.
You have to be physical with Kevin Durant. You saw in those post-ups, he's catching the ball at the three-point line.
Yeah.
So he's not a strong guy in the
Right.
sense that he can get positioned down low. So if you can be physical, get in his space, you can make things difficult for him, as Cleveland did at times there in game 1.
And what the Rockets tried to do with P.J. Tucker getting up underneath him. We'll take a break here. More coming up here. Game time live at the 2018 Finals. Before we go, this was Steve Kerr a few moments ago talking about trying to guard LeBron James here tonight.
Coach, after seeing what LeBron did in game 1, would you entertain the idea of maybe double teaming him right as he crosses half court to get rid of him, having get rid of the ball and have his teammates forced to make a play?
I appreciate the question. I'm always amused that I'm asked to come up here 2 hours before the game and answer questions about strategy. I understand this is the protocol, but I'm not going to reveal what we're going to do defensively. That would seem quite silly to me.
All right.
But the fact that I'm here 2 hours before the game seems silly to me. But I got to do what I got to do.
No problem, Coach.
Thanks for the question. Good try.
So wait, you're not going to tell us exactly what you're going to do tonight? Why not? Come on.
We were so looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, exactly. More coming up here. We are live at the Finals from Oracle Arena in Oakland. Heading toward the tunnel here shortly for the Steph Show.
It is quite the spectacle, as we talked about. I mean, you see it on TV, you see the highlights, but to be here in person at the Finals, everybody's watching. We kind of peek over, turn over our shoulder, make sure we can see it. But it just, it speaks to his greatness and how he has really just captured everybody's imagination and hearts and what he can do. I mean, we expected to make it. We were over here thinking, okay, he's going to make it on the second shot or the third shot.
Yeah.
But he is
he was off.
amazing.
He was off before game 1. Yeah. Shot one behind the backboard. He only hit the rim once.
And you said there's no correlation to how he performed.
Well, Jared said that, but I think that's been proven. One has nothing to do with other. And speaking of Jared, is he in his spot? Is Jared in his special tunnel spot?
Yes.
Let's see Jared.
It is,
there he is.
my special tunnel room spot right over, hovering over my TMZ reporting duties here,
Nice.
hovering over stalking Steph Curry. Yeah, you're right, Grant. There has been no correlation, or at least proven correlation, to Steph making or missing the shot now with performance in the game. But people around Steph have told me that they believe he does it primarily to loosen himself up, to just calm and relax and have some fun before what is a massive game. And he does it all the time. And guys, I've happened to see this in person over the last several years in different arenas. And while he doesn't do the tunnel shot for road games, it's quite amazing to see how the crowds of people, no matter what the building, come out early, much like I would do as a child for batting practice when I'd go see one of the big home run hitters. You want to see what they can do before they actually go and perform, and that's what this has turned into. I mean, look at all of the, it's not just kids either. I mean, you have grown adults here who are trying to get an up-close and personal look at Steph Curry and trying to get an autograph too. That's the cool part about it, Grant. You know, you guys mentioned this, is he will stop and sign some autographs after he's done with his tunnel shot as well.
You know, what's amazing about what we're seeing right now to me is that a lot of guys, you guys know, after practice, will kind of screw around out by half court.
Man, grown men don't try to take
That's a
pictures.
shot he might take in the game.
Grown men don't do
Steph
that.
might take the shot from. Yeah, exactly.
Grown men do not take pictures of Steph Curry. Oh, my bad. My bad.
That's a shot he could take from the logo.
You know
here
what's,
instead
you
of
know what
court.
the most important impressive thing to me is not only, the tunnel shot and all the things at the distance, but his use of left hand in his warm-up. He takes multiple jump shots from the free throw line with his left hand. And just the difference of way he warms up would loosen you up for sure. Because you mentally, if you're hitting these shots, your confidence just keeps taking another plateau.
Yeah. And I think what he's done, when you're talking about just loosen up, right? An opposing guard who would have to be defending him, right? If you walk out and you warming up on one end and you're getting ready to play against Steph Curry on the other end, and this dude is practicing shooting shots from half court, I mean, mentally, that kind of messes with you a little bit. That kind of messes with your psyche a little bit.
By the way, Steph Curry, 81 career made threes after the 5 in Game 1. He is 2 behind LeBron James for the all-time finals lead. LeBron's sitting on 83 right now.
I'm just curious. We talked about how he missed those 5 shots Thursday. I wonder if it's Jarrett's standing over there hovering, if that's playing a role in him missing. But, you talk about his play. I didn't think he was great last year in the playoffs and in the finals. I thought he was okay. He had an injury, I think, early in the playoffs last year, and it was Durant's turn. Like, Durant led that team, was sensational every game. But what he has done this year, getting back to Steph Curry form against Houston in a tough series, he was consistent, almost had a triple-double in that last game, came out, played well in game. Like, I've been impressed with how he has played and how consistent he's been, because in years past he hasn't been great against Cleveland in these matchups, and this year he's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, I thought the biggest play of the game in Game 1 for Golden State, when score was tied, he drives down the lane and gets a three-point play to put them back up 1 again. I mean, I thought that was probably the biggest play in the game for them, for Golden State, and it just showed his leadership and his courage, not only to be seduced in taking a three-point shot, but to drive it to the basket and finish at the basket and then go make a free throw.
Anytime now, he's going to head over to the tunnel for the tunnel shots. And you had a chance to try the tunnel shot here yesterday. How'd that go?
Well, I had a chance to try it, and the first thing I went over there and I said, wow, this is a long shot. I almost made it, but I couldn't believe how far it was to try to make that shot or shoot that shot, and he shoots it with such accuracy. And when you talk about Kenny, you say, well, that'll loosen you up. That damn near killed me trying to shoot it from that far.
Well,
but
yeah, I think the most you said, Grant, about how he didn't play as well as he could have played last year, but for me, the most impressive thing that he does is he sets the pace that the Golden State Warriors play at. Because if he doesn't set that pace, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, maybe not Kevin Durant, but everyone else can't live. And they can't be as great as they are. So being the ultimate pace car, what Steve Nash was, what Jason Kidd had been, what Isaiah Thomas was, creating a pace that no matter what you do against them, you have to play at that pace. When you played against the Detroit Pistons in the late bad boys, the early bad boys, you had to play fast, but the late bad boys, you had to play slow, grind up, and Isaiah made you do that. You played against Phoenix Suns, you had to play fast. You play against the Golden State Warriors, if you don't score 115 points, you will not win.
And Kenny, I think that's a great point. I think something else that doesn't get talked about a lot, or as much as it should, and it goes back to last season. When you're the reigning 2-time MVP and you bring in a Kevin Durant, and how he embraced that and almost went out of his way to make Kevin feel comfortable and make Kevin feel good. Like, you don't see that with an MVP. And I think it speaks to his character that he understands the big picture. And
I think it's because it was him, though, Grant.
No,
because Kevin was a guy he probably looked up to before he got to the league.
Maybe that's the case, but this was his team.
Right, no question.
And so now you have a situation where they both can be themselves and coexist and thrive. And that's just unusual in this day and age. And I think he gets a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely is unusual, and he should be complimented, again, for swallowing his ego. But I take that back and I say it goes to parenting, right? You look at his mom, you look at his dad being a former player in this league, understanding who Kevin Durant was, how to win, how to build teams. And I'm sure they had some conversations about how Durant would help him more so than hurt him.
See him working with assistant coach Bruce Frazier. Have a great relationship, those two, constantly working on various drills. And Frazier's constantly bumping him and grabbing him as Steph has gotten stronger and stronger over the course of his career and gotten better at withstanding the contact, finishing around the rim. And that's part of the routine here.
And Isaiah talked about that big play. And you're absolutely correct. That was a huge play. But I've just been impressed at how he's getting to the rim more frequently. Even against Houston, I mean, they were getting up in his space, and he was getting down to the basket and hitting tough shots with contact. And so watching MVPs get better, I mean, his ability to finish at the rim, you don't think about that when you think of Steph Curry. You think about shooting a half court and the tunnel and all that, but how he's been able to add that to his game and just be so efficient around the basket. I think like Kyrie Irving was somebody who gets a lot of credit for his ability to finish at the rim. And Steph Curry is
he's a close second, third behind him, Russell Westbrook, finishing at the rim.
Well, for a guy
he's
who's
third,
undersized,
without question.
Not playing above the rim.
I agree.
And Steph has improved in that area, Z.
I agree.
Most definitely. But he's improved in that area, but the only area we all get excited about seeing him in
shooting
is when he's outside that three-point line.
Without question. If you've never been here and seen this live, Z, the energy in the building goes crazy when no other player anywhere else hits a shot beyond the three-point line.
We talked about it yesterday. Yeah. It's sort of beyond quantification, right? It's 3 points, but there's something more to it because that noise changes, the energy in the building changes.
It's the Jordan dunk. It's the Dominique Wilkins dunk.
Dennis Scott compared it to Shaq dunk in Orlando when he was there.
Nah, I don't know if the building went crazy like that. I was in there, but I'm just trying to think of the only places that had a signature shot.
Well, in terms
everybody
of
went crazy.
Reggie Miller in Indiana.
Close.
You know, when he made a three. And these are the only two players that I've seen in terms of jump shooting. Right? When they make a three, the building goes crazy.
Right.
I mean, when Reggie Miller made a three in Indiana, I mean, the other coach had to call timeout because the building went that crazy.
Right.
And that's the same thing with Steph here.
But what's interesting about Steph, how he can shoot off the dribble from long range. Like he's making plays off the dribble, behind the back, crossing you up, and then throwing it up there from deep. Reggie Miller, with all due respect, Klay Thompson, who I think is the second best shooter.
Oh, no, they didn't have no handle like that.
They're catch and shoot.
Catch and shoot.
He's doing it off the catch and off the dribble, and the way he does it, and it's, I mean, like you said, it's nothing we've ever sort of imagined. He's doing that now. And I'm just curious, I want to see what kind of effect it has, good, bad, or indifferent, 10, 15, 20 years from now, when the young generation growing up, knowing that that's a possibility, are they going to try to emulate that?
Oh, they are.
Exactly.
They are emulating it. Without question. He's changed the game. He's changed the game just like Jordan with the dunk. And here comes the shot from the tunnel. But you hit it on the head. He's the only guy in the league who can shoot it off the catch and movement, and off the dribble. That's what separates him.
Jared, what you got over there?
Well, just like Kenny, no grown man takes video of another grown man shooting a basketball. At Jared S. Greenberg on Instagram. Find the video. This is incredible. The first shot wide left, guys. Again, he gets 5 if you're unfamiliar. And again, he's made 3 so far this postseason. We'll see if he can keep it going. Curtis delivers the pass.
That's cash.
You got it.
That's cash.
Just like that.
That's cash.
And he's gone.
That's cash. Oof.
That's a good percentage,
Steph
Jared.
Curry with the
Not
shot,
bad
boy.
at all.
1 of 2 from the tunnel tonight.
And Grant, I'm 1 for 1. I'm 1 out of 2 now, right? So it can't be my fault that he missed it the last game.
Or 1 of 7. I don't know which.
Don't be sensitive, Jared.
It's 1 of 7.
1 of 7 so far in the finals from the tunnel. Steph Curry's on the board here, and the only way that counts in pregame, he's made it from the tunnel.
Man,
And
that's
then
easy. That's
he's out. We're back after this.
All day long, but sometime in the last 4 years or so, LeBron learned how to shoot. changed everything. He didn't used to shoot it like this. Now he's coming in, he's hitting, step-up threes, in the fourth quarter. And given the array of skills that he has, the passing, the strength, what we're seeing and what we saw the other night, honestly, I don't think we've ever seen that from anybody. It's remarkable.
Just to remind you, Steve Kerr played with some pretty good players over the course of his NBA career. Lucky Hall of Famers on that list.
He's lucky. I wish I played with one of those guys.
There's some luck involved. You're going to wind up on those rosters for sure. But when he talks about LeBron James doing things that, quote, nobody's ever done before, he's seen some guys who can do some stuff.
I think we've all seen some guys. I'm sitting next to a guy that's done some stuff too. But what LeBron has been able to do is recreate the new era of basketball. So what he's done is saying, okay, how you used to play and how you think it needs to be done, I'm going to show you an alternate way to get there and get it done. Because the way he does it, in playing this many minutes, having this much responsibility, at this stage, or in any stage, no one player has had that much responsibility. I just never seen that being able to do on both ends of the court. Now, could other players have done it? Possibly. But did they have the responsibility that he has? No. So if you want to say he's the GOAT of having responsibility, I'll give you that. But if you say he's the GOAT of all time, we're going to debate all day. But he is has the most responsibility in any player in basketball history.
That is a very specific GOAT, by the way. The GOAT of responsibility.
It is that.
No, I look at him and I say, all those players that was on that list, and us sitting here today, we've all had Hall of Fame coaches. Like my high school coaches in the Hall of Fame, college coaches in the Hall of Fame, pro coaches in the Hall of Fame. I made it to the Hall of Fame. When I look at LeBron James, and this is why I called him the Einstein of basketball, this guy just dropped out of the sky. We don't know who taught him how to play basketball. We don't know who's teaching him how to play basketball. So when he talks about basketball IQ, intellect, basketball tree, where did this guy come from? That's my question. Like, who taught him how to do all this stuff where you can just rise and be in the conversation of a Michael Jordan or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and just get dropped out of the sky? And when I talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan, by the way, their coaches are in the Hall of Fame too. So that's where I'm asking.
I have an interesting question for you. Let's check in with Jared right now for more, I think, on the Golden State Warriors and Klay Thompson's condition.
Well, the most recent updated injury report says Klay Thompson is available to play for tonight's game. So as we have been hearing rumblings all throughout the day, as a team optimistic he'd be able to go. We have yet to see Klay Thompson come out to warm up yet. That is not unusual. He is always in the last shooting group. So still with about 55 minutes to go until game time, we're waiting for Klay Thompson to come out and test that left ankle that he injured in the first quarter of game one.
All right, Jared, thank you very much. I want to get back to the question about LeBron, because you guys talked about IQ and learning and where he learned all that. And I've always felt like some of the IQ is just an innate feel that players either do or don't have for game, and some of it is taught. So where do you stand on that?
It's an interesting theory. I think you have it. I think you learn a lot, but I think also it's a feel. And I don't know, I've always sort of questioned myself, how does one develop a feel, a sixth sense, an ability to see the floor, to see the court like an Isaiah or a Magic or a Jason Kidd or like a LeBron James? And certainly I don't know the answer with him in that case, but I will speak to the bigger picture. You talk about LeBron, it's the evolution of the game. You talk about the features on Steph and Kevin Durant. Durant 6'11", handling the ball and shooting from the perimeter. Steph Curry, the way he shoots. And then LeBron James, I don't know where he is in the GOAT conversation, but he's the best player right now in the game.
I love what you said, Zeke.
They speak to the evolution of the game.
I know what Zeke said, and I know we got to go to a quick break, but we had this debate 2 years ago, I believe. We were talking. When I was in high school, I was a high school All-American. My high school coach is in the Hall of Fame. I went to college. I was a player of the year in college basketball. My college coach is in the Hall of Fame. I never made an All-Star game. None of my coaches are in the Hall of Fame for coaching. It's just coaching changes it, and he's the only guy who doesn't have that to say, oh, he played for Dean Smith, Bobby Knight, Coach K. He doesn't have that. And it's like, none of his coaches might ever make the Hall of Fame.
Where they come?
How does he come there with this mindset of thinking? We can point to Coach K with you. Bobby Knight.
Yes.
You can point to Dean Smith. You can point to you can't point anywhere. And I love that you brought that point back out because I forgot about it.
So again, where did this guy come from? And when you ask the question about innate, I can just tell you this, right? Everything that we know about the game of basketball, we've been taught by somebody, or we mimic or imitated. We didn't come out just knowing how to read the court, knowing how to understand defenses.
You don't think vision comes into that?
Vision comes into it through repetition. Vision comes into it from being taught what to look for. Coach K said, Grant, this is what you look for on the fast break. Kenny, this is what you look for on the fast break from Dean Smith. Coach Knight, this is what you look for. Now, after so many times of seeing it through repetition, you understand when a guy is out of position, I don't even have to look. That guy's out of position, he's open. So it's not innate. You learn. So there's an educated genius about all of us who make it to this level. LeBron James, from a genius standpoint, who was this guy's teacher? Who taught him? Who can go back and say, I'm going to critique game 1 and 2? He takes Ty Lue, right? First-year NBA coach to the finals. He takes Mike Brown, first-year NBA coach to the finals. He takes Spoelstra, first-year coach to the NBA finals. Okay, he's in there watching film, self-critiquing himself. Where did this knowledge come from?
Akron, I believe. Excuse me.
I love it. You're only as good as your coaches, brother.
Let's get a break in as we get you set for Game 2 of the NBA Finals. J.R. Smith is back, getting ready, looking for some redemption tonight ahead of Game 2.